So welcome everyone. Is a real pleasure to have you here all. A lot of friends, a lot also colleagues. So I'm Domenico Vito. I'm the coordinator of the Climate Social Forum. In a few, I will explain what is the Climate Social Forum. But I want to start just introducing the topic of today, that is the importance of grassroots organization in global governance. So we are facing, as you know, we were talking about, you can say the World Cup, and also you can say peace and so on. Is a period where global governance is very needed, but sometimes we have some challenges. But that means that we need to change something. We have to also improve the system. Everybody of us, or the ones that are for the first time, they know that there is several, can say, organisms that are pertain the UN. There is the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, the other convention that are properly this attempt to have a global governance. But we need to recognize that the global governance is not just, can say, big institution, but is also in grassroots organizations. No, we are here from different countries. We are here like talking from different regions and so on, and we represent also in a way this idea of global governance because we are connected and so on. And so in this side event, in this event that is inside the open dialogue of climate change series of event, we want properly to discuss with our speakers about this very, very important topic. I was mentioning that the event is inside the Open Dialogue on Climate Change series, and I want to thank once more the Open Dialogue International Foundation for allowing these spaces and for making this event possible. This is not just the only one, okay? There are several ones all across the world, and that's also an example of, you can say, grassroots of activation, properly to have to build global citizenship. And I really thank, the foundation. We have the honor and the pleasure today to have the president here with us. I don't know, maybe Susanna, if you want just to say a few words about the foundation, then we can hear you on your proper speech. But I don't know, Susanna, if you want to just say a few words about the initiative.
Hi, Dominica. You mean right now? Do you hear me?
Yeah. Just a few words on the Open Dialogue Climate Change project, okay?
Well, I was going to talk about it later, I guess, but I
Okay.
don't
So
know.
we are waiting. We are waiting late. That's
I
okay.
think you made a wonderful introduction already. So I will talk about it a little bit more later, but thank you very much for introducing it, and thank you so much for being part of it, and for being part of it from the very start, which was like 5 or 6 years ago. So yeah, that's
Okay.
absolutely amazing. Hello,
Thank you.
everyone. I'm Susanna from the Open Dialogues International Foundation, which is the organizer of the Open Dialogues on Climate Change. So, yeah, that's me. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, thank you for being with us, and we will hear about the foundation later. We have a proper intervention with Susanna that will be part of our panel today, and we also thank her for her presence. So, I will just say a few words about the Climate Social Forum. And I don't want to annoy, but just to introduce who we are and what we are doing. This is our website. This is the idea of the Climate Social Forum is to build a virtual agora. What does it mean? Agora is a Greek word that was representing the place where everybody was talking and discussing about the problem of the community. And we want to do that regarding the climate and social crisis that for our, we can say, in our vision, they are connected. They are intertwined crises. We inspire a little bit of an initiative that already tried to gather different actors all over the world and all over Latin America during the COP25. That was the called Manifesto Climatico Latinoamericano, an important effort of global collection of input properly to have a climate and social agenda for that time. That was in COP25. We organize events. We organize the Climate Social Forum, that usually is an event at the end of the year. But also we organize these side events like the one of today. And we try to do that using some basic principle for creating safe space of discussion. Our keywords are listen, generativity, and solution, and these are our principle. I will not mention too much because they are based properly in these three keywords. The idea is that the discussion need to be productive. It's not just a place where we want to just, we can say what is wrong or what is not working. For sure, we all want to say that, but it's important to come out also with the positive ideas and problem solving. Okay, at least in our intentions. We approach everything, try to have a methodological approach for facilitation, like the Talanoa dialogue. Talanoa dialogue is a very well known nowadays negotiation methodology, properly talking about global governance, but is coming from the tradition of the Fiji Island. Okay, and also in indigenous tradition, we strongly believe in connection with the ancient wisdom of indigenous communities and so on. We will have also some representatives today. So that's a little bit it about the Climate Social Forum. Now, without spending too much time, I want to give the word to our introducing and keynote speaker, that is also the head of our, you can say, advisory board. That is Dr. Sudhir Joshi, that is also president of SDG Brigade in India, and also international expert all around the world. So, Dr. Joshi, is an honor and a pleasure to hear you, and I give you the floor.
Uh, Thank you, Domenico. Good evening, good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Sudhi Joshi. I'm a senior health officer in Government of Gujarat, Ayush Department, and basically working for SDG since long. And I have formulated SDG Brigade India for channelizing, connecting, and engaging youth for our achieving SDGs. And I'm also a part of Niti Aayog, the apex body of Government of India, as a regional mentor serving for innovation, research, and many activities. So here, welcome you all on this beautiful floor and nice evening. Our topic is why climate governance reform matters today in the context of the importance of grassroots organization in global governance. So first of all, I want to share that we are working for the SDGs. All 17 SDGs are interconnected and interlinked. We can't address one SDG at the same time. So we appealing for SDG integration. So in our SDG Brigade India, I put 3I. Remember my 3I: inform, inspire, integration. These 3I make our mission and vision very easy. So let's start. Climate governance reform is essential today because traditional top-down intergovernmental negotiation struggle, it's really struggle to translate broad international targets into local action. See, we have formulated the policy, but implementing in the grassroots level is tough. Grassroots organization bridge this gap by anchoring global frameworks in local realities. This is what we are doing. The ground climate solutions ensure policy accountability and translate international commitment into tangible community level resilience. These all things happens only because of the strengthened system of grassroots level organization. Now we are talking about the limit of traditional governance. See, modern climate governance predominantly anchored in the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that is UNFCCC, and agreements like the Paris Accord is state centric. This creates several modern challenges. See, we are talking about the UNU we are talking about the UNFCCC G modern challenges, and then we will find the real solutions. So start from the implementation gap. See, negotiation among more than 200 countries. Now it's crossed the 200 countries as per the UN report, and this is very slow as per the reports and result in compromises that delay actual implementation. See, delaying in implementation have so many issues, so many lacuna. Disconnect from local realities. See, start from the disconnect from local realities. See, broad policies can fail to account for the socio-economic norms of vulnerable regions. This leading to top-down policies that miss their mark on the ground. Why grassroots organizations matters? Why it matters? Because they are essential to effective multi-level climate governance for the various reasons. So we have to start with first bridging policy and practice. The first point, grassroots movement mobilize communities to take direct action, driving sustainable solution from the bottom up rather than forcing changes top down. See, we always believe. See, in my area, I am always put focus on the unreached, unserved people, unreached, unserved people. Grassroots actors and grassroots organization is the focal point in our country as a global level. They are the real actors, and they are the foundation and pioneer for effective implementation of all the policies. Climate impacts are context specific, community led initiative tailor adaptation responses to the exact needs, ecologies, and cultural of vulnerable populations. This is what we want. And the another point is building institutional accountability. The number of NGOs granted observed status of UN conferences has grown up to nearly 4,000 plus. They use this platform to amplify the voices of marginalized groups, demand accountability, and ensure that global policies serve the most climate vulnerable populations. Now, come to the United Nations 2025 General Assembly. That General Assembly advocate three core functions for reformed climate governance structure. The first, delivering authoritative policy advice. The second, coordinating action across diverse actors. And the third, anticipating risk to enable early responses. And then, United Nations University Research Department, UNUCPR, discussion paper outlined three broad pathways for reform. Three broad pathways. I am narrating here. The first one, targeted or systemic changes to UNFCCs, an inside outside model that complements the current system. And the last one, the establishment of new independent body or UN Council. This discussion paper strongly recommended these three reforms, and we are here for not solution, resolution. We are working for resolution because we want, see, motion creates movement, movement create momentum. We need momentum. And how can we bring momentum is only because of strong institution, grassroots organization. We are here for making grassroots organizations strong. Minimize the gap. Minimize the gap. So what should we do? The push for institutional reform, recognizing the necessity of integrating diverse voice, global governance is experiencing a shift. There are ongoing proposals. There are ongoing proposals, such as those debated at the UN General Assembly for United Nations Climate Council to create authoritative bodies. Just now I mentioned, and capable of drawing expertise from academia, civil society, and grassroots organization. Now, acknowledging grassroots efforts not only legitimizes local knowledge, but ensure that international climate goals are both equitable and actively implemented. So here, I am suggesting my 2 points. The first is SDG integration is very essential. And the second is, let's come forward for collaboration. Collaboration is main thing. With collaboration, start collective efforts to bring sustainability through making strong grassroots organization. This is what we want. And we, on behalf of CSF, wish you great success of this beautiful event. Let's come forward for sustainable globe. Thank you very much, respected chair and delegates.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Joshi, always for your inspiring talks. And really, it's an honor, a pleasure to introduce with the words of Dr. Joshi that stated also a little bit the state and the condition of the different negotiation and also the initiative that are running in a way to innovate. And properly on the talk of today, we wanted to address innovation in these processes. And so now, properly talking about innovation, I want to give the floor to the next opening speaker, that is Tiago Mendes from the PUC Minas University Center and Global Warming Studies, that also has been engaged in recent UNFCCC processes, properly talking about innovation and also digital innovation. We addressed it also with our partner B that will intervene later, this topic of a new form of digital gathering or digital arenas and so on. So Tiago, it's an honor really and a pleasure to have you here with us, and I want to give the floor properly to address these points. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much, Domenico, and to all for the opportunity to participate in such a beautiful event. I'm speaking directly from Brazil, and we had during the last year and a half be engaged quite a lot with the negotiations with the COP30 presidency. But I'm speaking here on a personal capacity as a university professor of PUC Minas, where we have the Global Warming Studies Center that we train and engage Brazilian negotiators to participate in the UNFCCC negotiations. It is a pleasure to address to you on regards to the status of what is going on the negotiations, as well as how technology and grassroots movement can deliver a powerful message and substance to negotiations. And based on that, I also recall that coming from Brazil and also coming from the spirit of where UNFCCC was born, which is the spirit of Rio. I also recall and remind everyone that Rio 92 was and still is an inspiration to have social participation guiding decision makers to do a better policy making at the multilateral level. I recall that once that we were preparing the UNFCCC convention, the Rio Convention, as well as the other Rio conventions, the preparations that we had to do here in Brazil was also very influenciated by the winds of democratization. We had passed before 1992 very long period of time with military government, and in 1988 we had the new constitution establishing democracy as the Brazilian way to deal with politics and economics. And this actually influenced quite a lot the organization of Rio 92. because at that time it was not common to have social participation at the multilateral negotiations. In fact, many of the UN Secretariat thought that Brazilians were a bit crazy to to engage social movements, NGOs, private sector, academia on such high level meeting. And after that, we established, it was a huge success. We had more than 120,000 people participating in the negotiations and also at the discussions. And this created a new paradigm. This is it's not possible to do such large events anymore without social participation. On the spirit of that, we also had back 20 years later, in 2012, the Rio Plus 20, also in Rio, where we had for the first time the digital dialogues that created a very important inputs for the Sustainable Development Goals. It was an engagement of 200,000 people from all over the world participating through internet and digital tools. At that time, we did not have Zoom or MS Teams. It was a connection directly with the support with the offices from United Nations agencies in each and every country to be able to connect people through the internet to participate and provide this guidance to the Sustainable Development Goals. And this spirit also had passed through the current government on hosting at the Amazon the COP30. So the Brazilian presidency was incentivized by the President of the Republic to mobilize millions of people to participate at COP30. And for the first time, this was actually possible using digital technologies. It was the first time also that we had a multiverse and also the engagement of multirão at the levels that were reaching beyond 180 million people that was mobilized in every single country that participated at the conference. This had generated a very positive mood on the power of the society to drive the leaders to further engage with fighting global warming. So I believe that this was actually crucial for some of the results that we had in COP30 and that we also expect to enhance and produce more positive feedbacks in COP31, especially on regards to the two roadmaps. We have now the preparation of two roadmaps, one to halt deforestation by 2030, and another one to discuss ways and pathways to the roadmap to reduce GHG emissions moving away from fossil fuels. And this participation of grassroots movements are really important. So this was a key part of the implementation of the inputs that the presidency had received. Several different institutions, more than 100 inputs were received, and we also expect that those inputs, as we had in Mutirão, as we had also back in Rio Plus 20 with the SDGs digital dialogue, and also as we had in the history of 1992 Rio Conventions, that this will also be taken for by the Turkish and Australian presidency to listen to the social movements, NGOs, academia, and private sector. So again, I'm really um, happy to participate in the meeting and also offer the premises of our university and our group of researchers also to strengthen this important dialogue. So again, thank you very much, and I hope that we have a great event. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tiago, for your word. And thank you really for bringing us the spirit of the Summit of the Earth, first of all, and also of the last COP that was properly wanted to engage the civil society and the movements, no? Because it's important that in these processes there is a space of dialogue between the movement and so on. That's also the core topic of today. And in fact, now after the keynotes, we want to address the biodiverse universe, we can say, of realities and movement. We know that in UN processes, in UNFCCC processes, there are the constituencies, no, of different stakeholders and so on. We try in our little to recreate this diversity. And now we will open the panel, the second part of our event. And I will call also to support me, Nora, that will be the the moderator together with me for this event. Hi, Nora. Thank you very much for being with us.
Hello, hello, and thank you everyone for being here as well. I am Nora, and now we are starting the panel about grassroots organizations as essential actors in global climate governance. We have very interesting speakers. Each one has 8 minutes or maybe a little bit more. Domenico will pay attention at the time. And we'll hear now about community-led climate action. The first speaker is Joan Kerr. She's the president at Foundation for Building Sustainable Communities. And I will now give the floor to her. She can introduce herself and tell us about her experience. Joan?
Great. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, everyone. Hello. And I'm still a ghost, as you can see. Sorry about that. Still working on it. Great speakers and keynote speakers. So thank you for inspiring us and so that help us to integrate even more actions. So thank you for that. So when I first heard the word policy and climate governance back, I'm going to say 30 some years ago, I was like, governance, like I'm just a normal person. What do I know about governance, right? So I had this picture in my head about, you know, an office building and people making policies, and the policy process I didn't even understand at the time. And I was like, oh, okay, like who in normal life talks like that? So I wanted to, I'm more of a social kind of person. And so I thought, well, I was busy with my own business and I wanted to be involved in making decisions on a global level, but I did not have the experience, contacts, or anything like that. So I spent the next, you know, number of years to achieve that. So, you know, I used to hear things like treaties and protocols, and all of these words sound so bureaucratic and educated, and you have to have a diploma in it. And all I wanted to do was to do something great for the environment. And so what I found was that a lot of people wanted to do that too. They didn't want to hear how great a protocol was and what are the benchmarks. They wanted to know, what can I do? So if I may, I have a short, just a presentation. I hope that's okay. Let's see, come on.
Wait one.
There. Good. I'm never good at these things, as everybody knows. Can you see it okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. Oh, okay. So today I'm going to talk about the importance of grassroots organization in the global governance, as everyone else is talking to about. So here's just who I am very quickly. I just want to say that when I started the foundation was because I was involved with the environmental movement, and I thought if people could be normal people in the community, could be part of decision making, but more importantly, actions. So I wanted to have an organization that made sustainability fun. I grew up on a sustainable farm, and it was just in my background. And I'm going back years ago when I was young and I had black hair. I wanted to make sustainability fun. The foundation was founded in 2003, and it's called Foundation for Building Sustainable Communities, which was not a word that was used then. But I knew about it because I grew up on making long-term decisions about life. So I wanted to make sustainability fun, to normalize languages that were friendly, so the use of language and getting people involved, that was very important to me, and also responsive. What can people do? So that was what I spent years learning about, the processes. So let's talk about the context. So we're talking about the United Nations Framework for a Conference on Climate Change. And we know that it's not being effective in terms of people doing things. It continues to hit frontline communities, and still diplomacy hasn't worked as much as it should, and that's because so many things has happened. So the context is that we have this 30-year issue, and the adoption rate is not as good as people thought. So one of the things that came out of that is that there's an implementation gap. Targets are made, they're made in language that people are like, okay, so what do I do? So there's an implementation gap. So when the agreements are made, the blockage to get to frontline communities is steep. It's lots of red tape, and so a lot of grassroots organizations are expected to follow the policy, and obediently, I might say, but they're not engaged in the policy making process itself, and are seen as passive recipients. So when they could actually be co-creators of the policies, and so there's that whole acknowledgement. The second thing is that when there should be some sort of acknowledgement that they can transform any policy into actual goals, into actual solutions. And they do, by building a lot of models that work in their communities, and they can be replicated. And so this whole idea that there's this one answer for everyone is not so. We need to look at different models. How do they work? How can they be applied? That kind of stuff. So how can they actually influence global decisions? Well, the climate is a big idea. Like, we say climate change, and I can tell you, I could write about climate change myself, from having a demonstration garden and seeing the difference over 12 years of what happens. So it's real. So they can. One of the things that I learned through the years was never to advocate for something if you want to be part of something by yourself. That having a coalition, having a group of people that support you and help you, and building that coalition helped. Because what happens is, we won't go into it now, but I can share lots of problems where I made that mistake. And it's only when I learned that if you had a group behind you, and that are supportive and feed you information, you share information, that it actually does make a difference. And so you can work with other people who are in the same boat as you, and so it makes you feel like you're part of something, but then it then can pool up for you to help with those solutions. So one of the things too is that when policies are made, they can be arbitrary and abstract, because they'll talk about, we need to lower the temperature by 1.5 degrees. So like, what does that mean? Like, how do we get there? And so the acknowledgement that grassroots groups can act as R&D, research and development, in a lab and adapt to climate change can help make decisions. They can offer the solutions, the actual practices that they have to help with this. So, you have in the Amazon, you have traditional forest management that prevent massive carbon sink loss, and you have Bangladesh doing pioneering floating agriculture because they have issues with extreme flooding. So, they've developed situations and solutions that help their community, but then it can help other communities as well. So how can we bridge negotiations and community realities? Well, there's lots of ways. So like I said before, there was an abstract target such as lower the temperature by 1.5, but that's nice to say, but how do you get there? What do you do? And so this is where the strength of grassroots can really, really help. So they can identify solutions in communities, such as like, okay, if we had a microgrid, they can localize some agricultural solutions and see what really happens. They can do those R&Ds, like I mentioned before, that can grab some of those solutions and say, you know what, this is what you can do, or this is what we've learned what not to do. There's also that. So they can have these labs that are not just theories, but actual practices that happens. And I think that's really, really a good way to have local actions. One of the things that we talk about, the responsibility of grassroots being involved in decision making, is that we have to look at it on the flip side, that policymakers can also reduce the gap by starting to look at grassroots organizations as co-designers of the policies and not merely as an implementer. They can create a two-way street. So, for example, climate financing, they'll come up with ways to finance climate action, but it's given big major projects, big money, and maybe they could look at ways of having a smaller group that manages a smaller amount of money and creating ways for smaller groups to actually have their projects funded, then provide some of those information to the larger groups. And so creating a sort of a feedback loop. They're getting the targets and the policies from one end and providing the solutions. And so there's ongoing dialogue. And it's not to say that makes the perfect decision. It's just ongoing, because life changes and the weather changes. And so it's a good way of sort of looking at how you can be part of that. One of the things that we did as at the foundation was look at the climate issues. Am I going over time? The climate issues.
Just 1 minute.
1 minute, okay. And what we did was took, of course, we're an environmental organization and a community organization. So we took the climate smart agriculture program, and we wanted to feed the world because it's about food, and we combined them and making it fun again. And so and also we applied for the UN status so that we could then interact with groups on the world stage. And so I just want to say that some of the things that we can change in terms of being accountable is that don't make targets for countries and they have their own agendas, but that when you make targets, make it that smaller groups can be involved and they can, it has to be that this grassroots is involved in making not just the national part of the national strategy, but also the international. So anyway, so changing funding for from mega projects to micro loans, and creating a feedback loop as well. I think I quickly went through that. Thank you.
Thank you,
My minute
Joan.
is up, right?
Thank you. Thank you very much. We are now moving to a power duo. We have both presidents and founders, Moran Solbroza at B and Elizabeth Harold at Water Unity Networks. I would let them introduce themselves and describe their experiences.
Hi, thank you very much, Nora. Thank you, Domenico, Joan, that was exquisite, Tiago, and Dr. Joshi. Thank you to Climate Social Forum for having us. I'd like to address the topic of the importance of grassroots organizations in global governance by starting with what and how it brings us here to this conversation today. So, first of all, were it not for man-made digital technology, we wouldn't really be able to gather this specific group from where we are geographically on the planet and connect us and communicate between us. And I believe that technology is becoming a deeper part of our lives, more integrated. And then the question is a defining moment, a moment to define what is technology to us. And certainly in the age of where AI has gone into the public realm and hands, not just of the tech people. And what choice do we have and what power do we have to choose which way this goes? And can we use technology for good? How can we use technology for good? And how can we use technology to connect us? And not only between grassroots organizations, as Joan mentioned, working together and building coalitions to strengthen the multilateral initiatives that have to happen simultaneously so that the whole can benefit together, but also how do we use technology to connect us? And this group specifically, I dare say even Climate Social Forum began thanks to using technology during the pandemic to connect us and to think together of how we can come out of it and how we can, what solutions can we implement, what solutions exist that we don't have to recreate the wheel or actually use sustainable values and principles of upcycling and recycling and the metaphors that we can learn through everything from permaculture and sustainable agriculture, etc., and namely biomimicry, and to learn from the way life behaves and the life systems that we're a part of. And so I look to actually even the picture behind me, which is taken from a showcase, an event that we did and will be recreating, showcasing solutions, but also looking at the metaphor of the Amazon rainforest, for example, and the mycelial networks at the root level that act as connective tissue between the millions and billions of species that are actually coexisting in order for that ecosystem of the rainforest to remain standing and be healthy and be able to exist. And what can we learn from that? And specifically to the Amazon, which gives us clean air and clean water. What can we learn from that? And the way water behaves. And since we are water, in a moment I'll hand it over to a water expert herself, Eliza. But how can we use technology to create spaces where we can meet, so we can connect, where we can share and exchange our knowledge, our life experience, our wisdom at every age, so it's international, intergenerational, and interdisciplinary together. And in that way, some of the people here have, including Climate Social Forum, we have put into practice, thanks to some of the leadership by people who find their positions wherever they are in the world and in their professions and in their hobbies. How can we kind of weave it all together? There was a technology implemented, I believe it was the first time, that almost gives me an idea of UN 2.0. So in one of our goals in today's conversation is how do we create transparency, and how can we capitalize on the foundational infrastructure and institutions that already exist, but build on top of them and improve upon them? How do we make them 2.0? A world without the UN is a much worse world than a world with a UN that's not perfect. I have yet to find any institution or body or corporate or school or family or home or business that is perfect. But we're always and forever going to be in evolution and trying to move forward and improve where we are. And part of that is collective intelligence. And that's where I think grassroots organizations that are dispersed across the globe, that could be using tech for good to connect us and to combine the collective intelligence that we have in the next iteration of global governance, using technology and its transparency to build back trust and build back those channels and waterways so that we can actually be the one species that we are, part of the one system of life that we are part of. And with that, I'll hand it over to Elizabeth Harold of the Water Unity Networks, another reflection of water as life. And thank you so much, everyone, for organizing this and for the opportunity to represent many others who are not here with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Domenico, as always, wonderful job. Tiago, it's great to see you again. And Nora, you are my champion. The Water Unity Network is an emerging, like, hyper collaborative organizational framework dedicated to resurfacing what I call watershed wisdom through community coalition building and capacity raising. We're gathering here today to discuss how digital technology can serve grassroots community in order to mobilize our climate adaptation solutions. Digital technology and AI is primed to become an impactful and powerful force for good, not because it replaces human wisdom, but because they can help grassroots, precisely because they can help grassroots communities connect, learn, coordinate, and respond appropriately to heal the one living system that sustains us all and begin to repair the damage that our species has done, not out of maliciousness as much as out of ignorance. We are on an evolutionary arc, and I think technology is part of that. We create the technologies. Humans have created the technology, and then the technology begins to create us. And we all feel that, right? And now how we deal with the world. It's very different than when I dealt with the world when there was no technology. A lot of people coming into technology today are digital natives, have never known anything different. And there's a whole wealth of ancestral knowledge that I think needs to be captured. And I feel that that's one of the tasks that we have for technology, is to be able to retain and archive, create a repository of pre-digital wisdom, because it's being altered very quickly and it's being lost very quickly. Technology has the opportunity to actually become the connective mycelial tissue of humanity rather than the divisive infrastructure that it is right now. And this is supporting humanity's capacity to learn, to listen, to cooperate, and to actually begin regenerating together. Water Unity Network begins and ends with a very simple proposition. Water is the source of life. It is not an extractable resource. It is not an agenda item. It's not even an SDG. It is the foundation for everything on Earth. We ourselves as humans are 99% water by molecular count. You can't be 99% of something without being that thing. We are water. Healthy, intact watersheds are the living infrastructure upon which the well-being of every community, economy, and ecosystem depends. Like the tributaries joining a river or the mycelial network exchanging nutrients throughout a forest, each local node of our network could be contributing and strengthening the vitality and resilience of the whole, if we could apply this whole system wisdom to our human response to the climate disruption which we have created ourselves. This needs to be repaired. We have a small window of opportunity. This needs to be repaired quickly, well coordinated, well intentioned, yes, but also well planned, and with good, solid strategy. The Water Unity Network, or WUN, W-U-N, the WUN framework is supporting this idea that we could in fact gather through technology across the world and support the dedicated eco-hydro practitioners in the field working together to revitalize our planets, not just the watersheds, but the communities that are dependent on them for the enduring resiliency of present and future generations of all life, co-creating these revitalizing alliances with partners and allies connected through technology. There's many ways that we are approaching this, and one of the biggest ideas that is coming forth is the idea of what I've termed the reciprocity constellation, which is a whole system strategy of how we actually do work together on this challenge. The entry point is a simple pledge. I call it OSHWA, One Source Water Action Alliance, which is the first point of entry. And rather than beginning with a call to action, we begin with a call to alignment, aligning us to come back into remembrance with the water inside of ourselves, remembering that there's only one water on Earth, and it's the same water that's always been here. And humans, in terms of the evolution of Earth, we're like in the last seconds of Earth's total clock. We think we're so important, but we're really just an eye blink on the Earth. But we are in fact altering and interrupting the life systems, the living systems that sustain all life. So we've claimed the role of stewardship without accepting any of the responsibility. We have to flip that story, flip that mirror, and part of that is through storytelling. And the idea that's growing is the idea of watershed community revitalization centers to be at the heart of this movement and momentum. And these are actual physical community-led collaboration hubs that are strengthening the capacity of grassroots organizations that are already doing the work to become more active and connected participants, not just in their local activities, but in the global decision making, as spoken to by Joan. By integrating watershed stewardship, regenerative livelihood, education, technology, intergenerational dialogue, civic participation, each watershed wisdom revitalization center, with the acronym WCRC, serves as a place-based incubator where local knowledge can meet global collaboration. And embedded in every one of the WCRCs is a central service, and that's the Youth Media Studio, which is a viable business equipping young people not only with life skills, but with digital storytelling skills, AI skills, civics, journalism skills, to document the local solutions, to preserve the ancestral wisdom, to aggregate community knowledge, to amplify underrepresented voices, and to connect grassroots innovations to this growing network of reciprocal learning and collective intelligence. And in the process, they are actually gaining life skills to improve their lives and livelihoods and that of the community around them. So this is really where we're focusing. And I think these youth media studios are intended to become more than just a media production desk. They're designed to serve as the local interfaces of connecting learning, community voice, technical training, field evidence, product development, partner collaboration, program implementation, in order for communities to be able to improve their futures. The local knowledge exists, but it's very often hidden. And so how do we make that wisdom visible, not just for the communities to be proud of, but for other communities around the world to learn from? And rather than asking communities to become part of a global system, the WCRCs enable every community to become a meaningful node within a living planetary network of reciprocity and solutions. So that's what I've come to say. And it's time to work together. And in order to work together, we need to learn how to work together, because we're not very well practiced at it yet. So this is, creating our communities of practice, of what Sol is leading with the Caring for the Future. Many of us are involved with, and Nora's trash cleanups, and all of these could be anchored in these physical spaces. And the partners have now vetted, curated communities that they can work with, that they know are trustworthy. And these are all very important pieces that we need to pull together. So thank you. Thank you all for your time and for your consideration of this idea.
Thank you. Yes, thank you also very much for the truth spoken and for the inspiring words. And before we move on to the next speaker, I will give the floor again to Sol. Since you said we need to work together, she will talk about to be together. One more final thought. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Speaking on behalf of many others in a large ecosystem of growing allies and friends, we actually, if earlier I was referring to improving on existing foundations and institutions, then one of the unprecedented things that I think happened at COP30 was the leadership of using digital spaces to be able to make high-level spaces accessible to grassroots organizations and civil society, with the example of Maloka, which is an indigenous term for where the community comes together to exchange wisdom and knowledge, and examples like Muchirão, which is a call to action for all hands on deck. And I think that's a good way to wrap up what could create the arc, so to speak, the place for people to be able to come together and then work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much as well. Thank you both. We are now moving on to the next topic, which is bridging local realities and global negotiations. Zuzana Borovska is the next speaker. She is founder and president at Open Dialogues International Foundation, which is hosting this session together with Climate Social Forum. And she is also a negotiator at UNFCCC. Zuzana, thank you.
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I hear you, everybody hears you. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect then. Hello, everyone. It's really nice to see you all, and it's really great to be here at this event among really so many inspiring people. And thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much also for organizing this event on such an important topic. And thank you so much also to Domenico and the Climate Social Forum team for your commitment to the ODCC project, really from the first edition every year. It's really amazing to see you doing this every year and kind of how it grows and how it develops and how you talk about different topics and promotes dialogue. So thank you so much for that right from the start. And so, yeah, as I said already, so I'm Susanna. I'm the founder of the Open Dialogues International Foundation, which is an NGO working on intercultural dialogue, basically, and also promoting community action globally. So all I can say is really that I wholeheartedly believe that grassroots organizations are absolutely key in global governance, but also that I actually think it's key to combine both. So to combine the global with the local. And this is really what we do in the Open Dialogues International Foundation and also in the ODCC project, which this event is actually part of. So ODCC, that stands, of course, for Open Dialogues on Climate Change. And well, it is what it says actually. So the project is about national teams or regional or local teams organizing dialogues on climate change in their local communities, in their countries, or in their environments. So they are all really different. You know, some of them are online, some of them are in person, some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. That's actually the beauty of it. So we really want to let everyone do it the local way and show us the local action that they do in their communities. And then we coordinate it globally and we try to showcase it globally on the global level. It is also presented at the COP every year, where we do a side event to summarize the project. We are also going to do it this year at the COP 31. We've been doing it since the start, and Domenico and the team has also been involved in that. And it's beautiful to see the teams from all around the world actually every year doing amazing things. And we really do kind of everything to support them and to connect them together and to show them the importance of both the local and the global. So we really combine those different levels in the ODCC, the local level with the global level. And I think myself, my journey personally also has been combining those various levels. So as I come, you know, from the youth climate movement, from Yango, but also now in the UNFCCC, where I've been involved for many, many years as an observer, as a youth representative, but also as a negotiator supporting the Global South countries, and currently also as the founder of the Open Dialogues International Foundation. So what I really do in my work, I try to combine all those perspectives. So for example, you know, when I'm in the negotiations, I try to think about how to represent those local communities from the ODCC and to keep their voices in my mind and what they've been telling and showing and asking for, because that's really important. And then when working with those local teams, then I keep in my mind also the global experience, and I try to think how to make the impact of those local communities bigger actually globally. And I think this is very important that we have more and more people combining those different levels and those different identities. So we really need, I believe, more synergies and more understandings between each other so that we can combine the local wisdom with the global impact. And indeed, as all of the speakers have been saying from the beginning, we need absolutely more collaboration and more partnerships. And so I'm really happy to see events like this one, because this is exactly the essence and spirit of that collaboration and of those partnerships. And I really believe that's very key for the global just transition that we really need and that we are really talking about, that it's so essential for it to happen as soon as possible. So yeah, people like this really give me a lot of hope, and events like this really give me a lot of hope and open dialogues as well. And I believe they are a perfect way to actually show the importance of the local action and to bring it some global impact as well. And that will be it for me. I don't want to take a lot of your time because I know that there's actually some dialogue planned for later. So I really want that to happen and also hear from the other speakers. So thank you very much. And once again, thank you for your commitment to the ODCC project. And I'm also inviting everyone to follow the work we do in the Open Dialogues International Foundation and to join us in our efforts. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much as well. Thank you for hosting this session together with Climate Social Forum and for the information you gave us. And now we are ready to go to the next topic, which is indigenous and local knowledge systems. And I would like to check before we move on if Maria Miguel Carrasquel Rincones it's on the Zoom or not, because I'm not able to figure out. Maria, are you here? And seems like it's a no. So in case she comes back, we'll carry on. We will continue with her. Until then, we will move on to the next speaker, who is Zeng Gong or Leonardo Mejia. He's Buddhist master of the Chan y Tierra Pura traditions and president of the Buddhist community Camino del Dharma from Colombia.
Hola, hola, muy buenas. Bueno, voy a dirigirme en español, querido Domenico. Muy bien, muy bien. No me dio el tiempo para organizar una presentación en inglés, pero me comprometo que para la próxima la tengo. Ok, ok. Permítame.
Yes, I forgot to say that Domenico will translate. So Domenico,
Yes, yes. I
thank
also
you.
put some subtitle to help, but I will also translate the speech of Zeng.
Ok, ok. Bueno, en mi reflexión va hacia el aporte de las comunidades espirituales a la gobernanza climática global. Muy buenos días a todos y todas. Quiero comenzar expresando mi profundo agradecimiento a las organizaciones convocantes por hacer posible este encuentro. También un agradecimiento muy especial a Dominico por la invitación. Es un privilegio compartir este espacio con personas que desde los distintos lugares del mundo dedican su vida a construir respuestas frente a uno de los mayores desafíos de nuestra época. Permítanme comenzar con una experiencia del día de ayer. Tuve el privilegio de representar a la sociedad civil y a las ecoespiritualidades de Colombia en la entrega oficial del informe de la primera conferencia para la transición más allá de los combustibles fósiles, un proceso impulsado conjuntamente por el gobierno de Colombia y el Reino de los Países Bajos. En ese acto recibí de manos de la ministra de Ambiente de Colombia y de la embajadora del Reino de los Países Bajos el informe que recoge las recomendaciones construidas por gobiernos, pueblos indígenas, academia, juventudes, organizaciones sociales y comunidades de fe. Mientras escuchaba las conclusiones de ese encuentro, comprendí algo que quisiera compartir con ustedes. Hoy sabemos mucho mejor qué debemos hacer. La ciencia nos ha mostrado con enorme claridad la magnitud de la crisis climática. Los acuerdos internacionales nos ofrecen un rumbo. Las tecnologías continúan avanzando. Las políticas públicas evolucionan. Y sin embargo, la pregunta decisiva sigue abierta. ¿Qué hace posible que esas decisiones se conviertan realmente en transformaciones dentro de la vida cotidiana de las personas y de los territorios? Creo que esa es una de las preguntas fundamentales para la gobernanza climática del siglo XXI. Durante las últimas décadas hemos construido una arquitectura internacional extraordinariamente sofisticada. Tenemos evidencia científica, tenemos mecanismos de cooperación, tenemos instrumentos financieros, tenemos metas compartidas. Todo ello es indispensable. Pero todavía enfrentamos un desafío profundamente humano. Sabemos cómo diseñar transiciones, todavía estamos aprendiendo cómo sostenerlas. Porque las transiciones no ocurren en los documentos, ocurren en las comunidades. No se sostienen únicamente mediante recursos económicos. Se sostienen cuando las personas descubren razones para cambiar, encuentran confianza para cooperar y construyen relaciones capaces de mantenerse en el tiempo. Por eso quisiera proponer una idea muy sencilla. Con frecuencia hablamos de infraestructura energética. Yo quisiera hablar de otra infraestructura, casi invisible, pero igualmente decisiva. La infraestructura humana de la transición. Es decir, la confianza, la cooperación, la capacidad de escucharnos, el sentido de pertenencia, la disposición para cuidar aquello que pertenece al bien común. Ninguna de estas capacidades puede imponerse mediante una ley. No pueden comprarse, no pueden instalarse como una tecnología. Se cultivan. Y precisamente allí las organizaciones de base realizan una contribución extraordinaria. No solamente implementan proyectos, no solamente ejecutan políticas, no solamente representan comunidades, cultivan las condiciones culturales que hacen posible sostener una transformación. Aquí quisiera compartir una reflexión desde mi experiencia como monje budista, sociólogo y presidente de la comunidad budista Camino del Dharma y miembro de la plataforma Ecoespiritualidad de Colombia. La tradición budista lleva más de 2500 años recordándonos algo que hoy también confirma la ecología. Nada existe por sí mismo. Toda forma de vida depende de una inmensa red de relaciones. Cuando olvidamos esa realidad, aparece la explotación, la indiferencia y la ilusión de que podemos prosperar aislados de aquello que sostiene nuestra existencia. Por eso, desde nuestra perspectiva, la crisis climática no es solamente una crisis ambiental, es también una crisis de relaciones que sostienen la vida. Y quizá por eso la gobernanza climática no debe preguntarse únicamente cómo administrar mejor los recursos. Tal vez deba preguntarse también cómo fortalecer las relaciones que hacen posible cuidar esos recursos. En Colombia hemos intentado convertir esa comprensión en una práctica. Desde la comunidad budista y junto a la plataforma de Ecoespiritualidad, hemos venido construyendo puentes entre comunidades religiosas, instituciones públicas, organizaciones sociales y actores ambientales. Desarrollamos procesos de formación, fortalecemos capacidades comunitarias, promovemos el diálogo y participamos activamente en espacios nacionales e internacionales sobre transición justa y gobernanza climática. Nuestra experiencia nos ha enseñado una lección que quisiera dejar hoy sobre esta mesa. La transición justa no comienza cuando llega una nueva tecnología a un territorio. Comienza cuando una comunidad descubre que también puede participar en la construcción de su propio futuro. Por eso me gustaría dejar 3 invitaciones muy concretas. La primera, fortalezcamos las organizaciones de base no únicamente porque ejecutan proyectos, sino porque producen confianza social y sin confianza ninguna transformación profunda puede sostenerse. La segunda, incorporemos la dimensión cultural dentro de las políticas climáticas. Cambiar la matriz energética es indispensable, pero no será suficiente si no transformamos también nuestra manera de comprender el bienestar, el desarrollo y nuestra relación con la naturaleza. Y la tercera, reconozcamos a las comunidades espirituales y a las ecoespiritualidades como aliadas permanentes de la transición justa. No porque posean unas respuestas exclusivas, sino porque pueden aportar algo que hoy resulta extraordinariamente necesario. Espacios donde las personas vuelven a encontrarse, donde aprenden a dialogar, donde reconstruyan confianza y donde descubran que cuidar la tierra también significa aprender a cuidar nuestras relaciones humanas. Permítanme terminar regresando a la pregunta con la que inicié. ¿Quién sostiene realmente la transición? Las políticas pueden iniciarla, la ciencia puede orientarla, los gobiernos pueden impulsarla, los organismos internacionales pueden coordinarla, pero serán siempre las comunidades quienes la sostengan en el tiempo, porque son ellas quienes convierten los acuerdos en cultura, las políticas en confianza y los objetivos globales en formas concretas de cuidar la vida. Quisiera terminar con una convicción profundamente sencilla. El futuro de la gobernanza climática no dependerá únicamente de nuestra capacidad para producir más energía limpia, que es muy importante. Dependerá sobre todo de nuestra capacidad para producir más confianza, más cooperación y más comunidad. Y esa es precisamente la contribución que las organizaciones de base, las comunidades de fe y las ecoespiritualidades podemos ofrecer al mundo. Una pequeña recitación de despedida, que cada pensamiento, cada palabra y que cada acción física generada en este espacio sea de beneficio para todos los seres, que todos los seres se puedan beneficiar de lo que ha ocurrido aquí. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Zeng. Gracias, really, really intense. Muchas gracias. Now I will translate and synthesize the amazing intervention of Zeng. I hope that I will be at the same level of quality of the speech of Zeng. I will try my best. In case colleagues, of course, let's try to help me. So. Zeng introduced his intervention, introducing himself. He's like part of the Buddhist community of Colombia, the community El Camino del Dharma, and also founder of the Eco-Spirituality platform. Of course, Zeng recognized that the global agreements are important. Also, technology is advancing. Also, he mentioned Santa Marta conference. That was like the conference was led by Colombian government and Netherlands in Santa Marta properly during between 24 and 29 of April. He said that of course it's important to recognize these. But the transition is not just the type of energy that we are using, that is not just technological. but we need to understand that beside this technology, there is also, we can say, social and spiritual infrastructure that is sustaining the just transition and the global governance. Such infrastructure is properly made by grassroots organization, and which is their role into the global governance. They create the accountability. They created the trust. They created the culture to implement the social transition. And this is something that we have to recognize. We have to recognize also when we are thinking on the global agreements and when we are thinking properly into the international governance and so on. He made the example, for example, of his community. He made the example of what also the eco-spirituality platform is doing. And this role is extremely important because it's not just like to have a transition, ecological transition, is also to understand not only how to care about the environment, but to care also of our relationship, because also one of the environment is a relationship. So it's important to recognize the role. He also sent three messages and three, you can say, statement that we can take properly on this discussion. So what to do to increase and implement the grassroots organization role in global governance. For sure, like get strong the base of the social trust. Okay, that's what the grassroots organization they are doing. Okay, they is need to be included also the cultural part. Okay, because that's also what the grassroots organization are doing. Okay, they're including the cultural part to the transition that is important if we want really to have a transition. And also what is needed also to be recognized by the global governments, by the agreement and so on, is for sure the role of the eco-spirituality movement. Because here in these spaces, the people learn how to talk, the people learn how to interact with each other and to have, we can say, ecological relationship. Let me say like that, because here we are starting to trust and to understand how to respect each other and also how to respect nature. So that's exactly what the transition is sustained of. Is sustained of political level, of course, that is making decision, is supported by science, okay, that is orienting the transition with technological possibilities and so on. But without the role of the grassroots organization that are creating the trust, that they're creating the culture, this transition is not completed. Okay, and so the transition and the change is not just an energy transition, but is a transition of culture and trust. And in this, the grassroots organization and also the eco-spiritual organization have a great role that we need to recognize. And then of course, as homage us with a prayer, with a celebration, and really we thank you, Zheng, for your intervention. Let me know if I missed something. I tried to resume the core of your speech. That was amazing. Really, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you as well. And thank you, Zheng, for your wisdom. And thank you, Domenico, for translating. I will now introduce the next speaker. She is also from Colombia, Giselle Victoria Munoz from Asociación para la Defensa de la Naturaleza. Giselle Victoria, you're next. Thank you.
Hi, greetings from here. I'm in a beautiful place in Germany. I say hello to everybody, to Nora, to Domenico, and everybody that is attending today. I am very happy to be here and to listen to everybody and to be able to talk about how the grassroots work and the community sustaining this transformation in the world. I'm very happy to tell you that I get to know Domenico exactly in the conference of the transition, and also Leonardo, the last speaker. I will speak in English because most of you, it will make it easier for everybody to communicate. I would prefer you listen to me.
Yes,
Is good,
yes, 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 yes. We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So it was very nice to get to know Domenico in this conference of the transition. It is very alarming what is happening with the phenomenon del Niño and the climate change. So I am very happy to speak in this climate social forum, to be my first time to be here to get to know the people and the community the community that is growing. I was super happy to listen to Elisa and her proposals to make local notes. In fact, that is the proposal from the participative action research. That is the methodology of research that I'm working with. I work with water governance, and I work with ADN, this Alianza por los Derechos de la Naturaleza. In ADN, we promote the rights of nature more than 10 years ago in Colombia, but we work also with GAR, that is the Global Alliance for the Rights of Nature. They hold the Tribunal for the Rights of Nature, that is like for now an ethical and moral way of bringing the cases that are like committing ecocides or crimes against nature, and to bring the cases to be analyzed for experts that know about how that is affecting the communities and the societies and the territories and the ecosystems. So we worked many years ago, more than years in Colombia. Now I am in Europe, but I live normally in the Caribbean. I work with indigenous community of the Tayrona territory in Sierra Nevada, Santa Marta. We work in communitary governance of water, and what we do is promoting in the local scale in the rivers for the people to create councils of water. The context of the territory where I live is very complicated and conflicted because there are familiars there, and the people is the conflict is very dependent in the community and the pain and the trauma that many the paramilitaries are the families are the local people. So it's very difficult to identify who is the criminals, and normally the criminals are protected for the families that belong to the criminal organizations, and the mafia is not just the violence but also the extortion of the people. So the things is we are trying to create peace now and in a big transition, and Colombia was trying to lead this process of transition first in peace building, and it is something very beautiful also because as Seng was talking before, we need to build peace inside of ourselves and to be able to build community relationships that last long, that we can build trust. And building community and cooperation and confidence is not easy all the time, overall in context of violence. So it is important the grassroots and the community work of the people is holding and sustaining this trust and this peace through art. I work with circus too, and with the spirituality from the indigenous communities and from myself in my relationship with nature. And I think that the spirituality is very important.
I think we lost 1 second, Victoria, for connection. Let's check if okay. Maybe in the meanwhile that we reach out to Victoria, if there are questions also for the speakers and so on, we can put in the chat. And at the end, we are gonna have like a little space for interaction. So let me just check from Victoria. Okay. Maybe, Nora, in the meanwhile, that we are gonna reach out to Victoria if you want to let introduce the next speaker, that is the representative of the young people.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Yes, we are moving to the next layer of this dialogue. We move to youth participation and intergenerational justice, and the speaker is Mr. Eman Danish Khan, who represents Yango. So please, you're next.
I'm sorry, my
Okay,
internet was gone
yeah,
Okay.
for a minute.
we are back. So let's finish Victoria, and then we move to the representative of Yango. Please, Victoria, floor to you.
Okay, so I would like to talk about the proposal to finish and to give the word to the next speaker. I think that maybe we are going to have a conversation later and I can go deeper about the ideas that I wanted to share with you. But I dream that the next stage is to make a conference, local conferences to talk about the transition, not just about fossil fuel, but in economic transition through economies of care and local governance and a governance that we can build, promoting sovereignty for our communities. First, promoting water sovereignty for these watersheds that the people is being stakeholders of the water, and but assuming first our responsibilities. It touched my heart a lot what Elisa say about that we assume that we say that we are taking care and that we are guardian of the planet, but we are not assuming the responsibility but destroying it. Maybe not we, but some humans that are not aware of what they are doing in an industrial level overall. And I think that is difficult that we can continue fighting, and of course is the goal is to continue nourishing the community, but it's important that we get united in the global level, also continue acting in local and connecting through technology in the global scale. In that way, we can create more impact, and one day this Tribunal of the Rights of Nature can bring Coca-Cola and the big polluters. It's nice to be recycling. I think that is very important to do these journeys for cleaning and recycling and other things that we can do in the individual action and the community action. But also, if we were connected, also in the community level, everything will be expanding more. And yeah, I invite you to believe even amidst the darkness that we are here. We are the people that we were waiting for. So I send you a big hug and thank you for having me here. And have a beautiful afternoon.
Thank you very much. Thank you too, and I'm glad your connection worked. We are now moving on to the next speaker, Mr. Eman Danish Khan, who represents Yango.
Hi, Nora. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My
I'm
name is
sorry, I
Iman
said
Danish
Mr.
Khan.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Was on the list.
It's okay. So my name is Iman Danish Khan. I'm the founder of Earth Warriors, which is a free-to-use climate education portal, and I'm here representing Yango. I'm part of the ARCOI selection team and the COI 21 Indigenous Involvement team. So I'm also 15 years old, and I'm an Indigenous person myself from Pakistan. And I'm here to talk a bit about the role of youth in shaping climate negotiations. So, as a young person myself who's been to many climate negotiations, I've been to COP28, COP29, and COP30. They were all great experiences. But what I see lacking in a lot of these kind of conferences is the real involvement of youth and indigenous communities in these specific spaces. There's always a lot of talk about youth and climate change, and especially in the previous COP, indigenous communities in climate change. But I barely see youth actually having a seat at the table in the real negotiations that are going on. So I have been traveling across Pakistan and across the world my whole life. And I've met so many amazing young people that are so passionate about climate change and what's going on in the environment, but they have no idea what's going on. This is usually because they don't know what climate change is. The indigenous communities of our planet, they have been protecting the world for generations. They always think about 7 generations ahead of them. That's why they live super sustainable lives, and that's why they tend to live longer as well. So these people that have been protecting our communities for so long, they deserve to have a seat at the table. So one way I think we can bridge this gap is first of all teaching children and indigenous communities about climate change. Because even till now, there is a lot, there are a lot of communities that don't know what climate change is. This is because of the lack of education in their languages. If I'm speaking from the communities I've met, not a lot of them know English, and most of climate education is available in English only. So that's why I think that we need to translate these and think about the people that don't have access to these local platforms and teach them about climate change. And when you educate these people, which I have been working on actively, you can really see the passion these people have because they've grown up around the earth. They have the stories about the forest, the rivers they've grown up with, and they would do anything to protect them. So I think the first step in bridging the gap between indigenous communities and climate change and how to get them involved is really through letting them know what it is and encouraging them to join these discussions because many people they feel like they're not allowed or their voice won't get heard. So we need to create a safe space for them, which is exactly what we're aiming to do at every COIP. So I think that's my 2 cents. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much too. And one more time, I'm sorry for calling you Mister.
No worries.
I just saw an MR there, so okay. Thank you so much. The message was great, and you are right. You're right. Thank you for the work that you do. And now, Domenico, we can end the panel.
Nora.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Nora, and thank you to all our wonderful panelists. Maybe we can have like just a little space of Q&A for somebody wants to add more, contribute more to the discussion. Even though we are gonna move to the third part of this event, that will be an interacting event, an interacting part. Okay, Victoria, please.
I'm sorry, when I lose the connection, I was talking about the 3 different transitions and the proposal that I was having. And one is the sense of the water, local community governance. And the second is food sovereignty, that is being able to be self-sufficient and plant our own food and the excellence share it with the neighbors. And also the last one is related with the conference and the transition of the energetic from the fossil fuels and also economic. And it is related with being able to develop our own prototypes and models for low scale energy in a local level. So what I was going to develop, my idea was related with what Elisa was proposing, and it's like, just in the Sierra Nevada, we have 33 rivers and 12 lakes or lagoons that are sacred for the Mamos and the spiritual authorities. And if each one of the rivers can organize the people in the cuencas in the rivers, they can talk, because in the Buritaca River we have a special context, and is that the people hike, they are indigenous Kogi people that are living in an archaeological site that is protected. Then the people in the middle is paramilitaries that they give up their guns and now they work in agencies that are tourist agencies, but they are like a mafia too in some way still. And the people down, and they are farmers and they are colonizers. I didn't know that in Colombia we lived in a colonization that was inside, from the people of the regions to the mountain in the Sierra. So the people is colonizers from Colombia, and they are farmers, and they live in the mid part in the Cuenca. And down, we have fishermen and farmers also that were paramilitaries. It's a place that was very conflictive. And we have Afro descendants that are living in a mangrove. So we have the mangrove and the sea, and we have forest, tropical forest, and high, we have the bar where the river was born. So if I can teach, my project is to teach the people up in the middle and down, and to be able to promote these three kind of transition: so water sovereignty, food sovereignty, and energetic transition, bringing an interdisciplinary group. And I would like you to come to Colombia and to do this together with me, or go to a place so we can do this together. We can experience this, developing these prototypes of energy and water and food systems and research together, to see also the little data, little sensors to pick up data of climate, to control and monitor the climate, to see how the things are now and how the things can change if we work together with the community. And that is related with multiple scales, as Elisa was saying, creating products, working with community, teaching and making events and cultural things, and working and I really like what she say. I think that was Moran. She said that it's intergenerational, interdisciplinary, and international. So if we can be together in one river doing this with the local people, and being together like a research group, assessing the people, consulting the people, helping them to develop one model from the action participatory research, maybe we can not develop like a schema or a model that can be applied to all territories or people, because everything, all the people and territory is different. But at least to learn, asking question, how is the problematics, which are the problems and the needs of the people, helping them to solve their own needs, helping them to recognize how they are their protagonists of their history and solving their own problems, and solving that in a local level can help us to expand to find solution in the global scale. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you for listening me and allowing me. I was walking and I was thinking, no, but I didn't say what I wanted to say. And thank you, because I lose the connection and it was a little bit difficult for me to give shape to my intervention.
No problem. Thank you very much. And also, I invite you, Victoria. We have to make a report after this session that we also will include into the open dialogue for climate change, we can say, final framework. So I invite eventually also, if possible, to write down this proposal that we can include into the report. I see Sinisa that is raised the hand. Please.
Hi, Domenico. Hi to everybody. So I just answering to this possibility of having a small conversation feedback, if it's still open or we are going to the next session. Can I?
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead if you want.
Yeah. Okay. So, I just want to share my breakout, how I felt listening to these today's speakers, because first listening to Jawa, if I pronounce his name correctly, and then Victoria. Actually, they really combine my journey that I had to Colombia, where I was there to present a digital tool for a collaboration of indigenous people, artists, and scientists on Yatsuni Ecuador problem of the how to on the conference balance and balance. So I was there like more as a scientist trying to solve, a technological guy trying to solve some of these climate and environmental issues. I went there. I was like programming, coding, everything. But then during the journey, I met the people, like two of them, and like the rest of you, where I slept in a home. The guy that was painter, but was painting those natives there that they were not even open to the world. And then after the conference, I went to Tayrona National Park. That was actually Victoria, I guess that she's from there, and I spent like days there, and I was being so happy to learn there that the shamans there were practicing actually. When they felt that something is unbalanced in the nature, they were practicing rituals of turning it back to the balance. So years before we are thinking about sustainable development, years about circular economy and so on, like make it in balance, they felt that something is unbalanced on so smaller level and practicing that. And I was reading about it. I was like, blow my mind. So after all of that, I was like a technology guy, because I was also the poet in the same time, but I was there for technology. And then I said, after that, my sentence was, as Zhao mentioned, it's not planetary problem, it's social problem. Climate is a social problem at the beginning, you know. So I see, just to close with that, so I'm really excited to hear all of these stories, bringing me back the memories, but also the future. Um, and combining it what Thiago said about, I would like to hear more about that COP30, how they integrated really, like how they integrated just through some commenting or what was the dialogue. But my pick on that would be like open innovation. That's a system that is used in the companies world also, like to share innovation, but like to share with you that Domenico and my team, we were working on something called Eco Collabo. It's a platform for collaboration on environmental climate issues. And just to share this nice news, Domenico, with you, that we had the meetings with Business Chamber of Serbia, actually to use this open innovation model inside of EcoCollabo. And I think that might be part of the answer how to include NGOs, because their companies, they say these are our problems in green transition. This is how we have more ways that we want to lower. This is like energy inefficiency. This is our food waste, whatever. And then NGOs, then startups, then academia through process of open innovation. Check it. Just I will just leave it there. Check it more about open innovation. Then they together in that ecosystem of open innovation inside our EcoCollabo, they can jointly work on the problem, jointly bring the forces, jointly include NGOs and consultants and so on. And when the problem is solved through open innovation, it is seen for the others to replicate the solution. So that might be one of the ways the technology can help society to jointly work on these issues that are really shared. That's all of
Thank
me.
you very much,
Thank you
Sinisa,
for
and
being
thank you also for the collaboration that we are fostering. Really, thank you very much. It's very precious. So I don't know if there are other intervention. Maybe let's interact by chat, because now I want to give the floor to Edwin Koga from Amazon Theatrix. Edwin, are you there? I don't know if Edwin is there.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you also for like engaging in this event. With Edwin, now we are doing something interactive, okay? Because it's important to activate in an interactive and also playful way. So Edwin, you will explain us now a little bit this theater way of discussion. So please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm Edwin Koga. I'm the founder and the director, Amazon Theatrics Ensemble, based in Kisumu, and we use forum theater in conducting dialogue in the communities on issues climate change. So, if I may start, I'll start by explaining what is forum theater. Just as you can hear the word forum, a forum is a gathering of people, people who are like-minded. Like for this, for this sake, we say people who are championing for climate change adaptation and mitigation, with our topic of today being in the limelight. And then when you hear theater, theater is a performance before an audience. So when you join forum theater, it's a people-driven performance, whereby this is a kind of a performance where we don't only have professional actors getting on stage to highlight a certain intervention, but we also have the participants, like the participants who are attending the dialogue, also coming. We call them non-actors. They are participants that just have been invited for a dialogue session, and in this dialogue session, we have the professional actors and the non-professional actors who are the participants. So how does it work? Let's say for example, when we want to highlight a problem in a climate change problem, like maybe let me say a drainage system, poor drainage system that leads to flooding in the community. So we will invite the participants to come to the dialogue on what should be done so that we can have proper drainage system to curb flooding. where during flooding, like I can say, for example, in Kisumu, during rainy season, floods leads to people vacating their places to higher level because of a lot of floods. So we will do a theater. The professional actors will do a forum theater. Forum theater is just a theater, but whereby you must, before you do it, you must have an idea, or you must have a reason why you want to do it. For this sake, let's say we are championing for proper drainage system, where maybe we are asking the duty bearers, the politicians who are mandated with the accountability and development processes, to make sure that the community has a good, proper drainage system. So we'll have the professional actors who knows what they're doing come on stage and dramatize something that is maybe short. Maybe let me say, for an example, a family that has been evacuated from their house because of floods. And in this family, maybe we have the floods, and the floods has led to maybe waterborne diseases and health-related issues. Maybe one of their child fell sick. So they will dramatize that. After dramatizing that, they will leave the story without solving it. They will leave it hanging. Then we'll ask the participants to come and maybe try the role. Let's say maybe we had a role of a mother, of a father, and of a child. So we will dramatize it, then we'll leave it hanging. Then we'll ask them, if you are the father, or if you are the mother, or if you are the child, can you come and take the stage and maybe give us the solution or find a solution? Now the participants who are non-actors, who we invited for the dialogue sessions, will come on stage, and with their idea, they will try to solve the issue. So they will act it out the way the professional actors were acting out, but now they will presume the role of the professional actors, and because they are unprofessional actors, they will just we are just busy on what they are going to the solution that they are going to give. So you realize the solution will come from them. Maybe some of them will bring in out an acting whereby they will ask the government to expand the canals, to do the siltation. So that is in a nutshell. So the solution, the forum theater, the solution comes from the participants. The professional actors set the stage, then the non-professional actors, who are the participants, come in, and then they give the solution. This solution that they come up with, it can be used to develop policy briefs. It can be used to develop communique. It can be used to develop a memo to be presented to maybe the government to act on the problem that is related to climate change that is affecting the community. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Edwin. So this technique, for example, can be applied for the discussions, no, that we have, no? For example, to understand the importance of grassroots and so on. I think that maybe, Edwin, we can organize a session like this, maybe another time, okay? Also for the Climate Social Forum. What do you think?
Yeah, it's very possible. We can organize the session to highlight this, because the tool is participatory, and it is capable of sparking discussion, whereby you find tangible reasons from the communities, because it's the communities that we work for, it's the community that we serve, and their idea can form a good resolution and maybe a good way forward to help in addressing climate change.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Edwin. So I think that also for the sake of time, like for this time, we will maybe have a separate session on this theatrics technique. But really, thank you very much, Edwin, for sharing that. And yeah, I mean, to dramatize the crisis and the problem is important, because also we can understand the real causes, effects, and so on and so forth, and also the different roles Also mentioning, for example, the global institution, there are the so-called models of United Nations that are these games where, for example, everybody of us is I don't know, seems to be a negotiator, and we need to find an agreement, and we can face the difficulties for finding an agreement altogether, and so on. And I think, as was saying before, the grassroots organization can really work on creating the culture that is really a change. I really strongly believe that the transition is not just a technological transition, okay? Even though we will just make another industrial revolution, but it's a cultural and I will say societal transition. And the grassroots organizations are making that work that sometimes is invisible, sometimes is under-evaluated to create the trust and create the culture. I will really strongly repeat this thing also as a final messages of the event. I don't know if there are like other intervention that eventually we want to take. Now let's open an open discussion. Yeah, I see. Maybe no. Okay, Walter, I don't know if you want to speak. Okay. Okay, Nora, please.
Yes, thank you very much. I would love to say now that Edwin spoke, I would like to acknowledge his entire team of artists because they have been playing the Global Cleanup Games very passionate in the past week or something, and they are amazing. They deal with big amounts of trash, and they are just heroes. So I want to thank him and his team for what they're doing, and I hope their efforts will be seen and that they can make a change because actually they are making a change, make more of a change because in the end that's what it is: act locally and impact globally, and it's totally doable through internet. I guess that's one of the themes. So thank you very much. I want to thank them.
Thank
Yes, I
you.
want to thank all the speakers. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Nora.
Because
Thank
some
you.
of his team are actually, yes, that's what I want to say. He has here members of his team, so they all work together. Yeah, they're here on the chat. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's take maybe the last two intervention before closing. If somebody wants to share something or final thoughts. Okay. If no, I think that we can close the session. I want to thank everyone, first of all, for joining. I want to thank Nora for supporting in the moderation. I want to thank each one of the speaker because really they brought a different point of view on this topic that, as we said, is nowadays more than paramount because we're facing a moment that is not easy. We cannot, we can say, hide that. It's not easy the moment that we are facing as humanity, and building spaces like that, and not only like Maloka, like B, like all the initiative that we mentioned today, is properly an effort to stay human. We can say, to stay the humanity that can face together the different challenges. That is are affecting our times. So saying that, I will wish you everyone a good rest of the day, whatever part of the world you are, and thank you very much. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye,
Thank
bye,
you.
bye.
Thank you very much.
You
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks.
Bye
Have a
bye. Thank
beautiful
you. Thank you,
night.
Edwin. Thank
Ev-
you,
I'm
Edwin,
so
for
happy to hear you. It's giving
Everyone
me
save
hope
the
again.
chat. Everyone save the chat.
yeah.
Information in the chat. All right. Much love to everyone.
Bye bye.